He said it loud enough for the whole restaurant to hear. "You'll never be successful without me." People turned. Forks paused mid-air. A couple at the next table pretended not to listen while clearly listening to everything. He leaned back in his chair like he'd just delivered a TED Talk. Calm, confident, certain. "You don't have the drive. You're too emotional, too soft. You need someone like me to guide you." Guide me? This was the same man who used my car because his was repossessed, the same man whose business ideas were funded by my savings account, the same man who called himself an entrepreneur but hadn't held a steady job in 3 years. And yet somehow I was the liability. I sat there in silence, cheeks burning, while he performed for strangers. "You'll see," he said, lowering his voice but keeping it sharp. "When we break up, you'll crawl back because you won't survive on your own." That was the night I left. No screaming, no dramatic scene. I just paid my half of the bill, stood up, and walked out. He didn't follow me, because men like him never believe you're actually leaving. The next 6 months were brutal, not because I missed him, but because I realized how much space he'd taken up in my life, how much of my confidence he'd slowly chipped away at. Every time I applied for a promotion, I heard his voice in my head. Too soft, too emotional, not leadership material. So I worked, harder than I ever had. I stayed late, I took courses online, I asked for projects no one else wanted. I stopped trying to prove myself to him and started proving myself to me. Meanwhile, he texted occasionally. "Miss me yet? Still working that cute little job? Let me know when you're ready to be realistic." I never responded. 3 months after we broke up, I got promoted to senior operations manager at my firm. He reacted to the LinkedIn update with a laughing emoji. That was the moment something shifted. Not anger, clarity. He didn't want me to succeed, because if I succeeded, he'd lose the story he told about himself, the one where he was the talented one, the visionary, the future CEO. 6 months later, our company was acquired by a larger corporation. New leadership came in, including the CEO. His name was Daniel Whitmore. Older, composed, the kind of man who didn't raise his voice to command a room. He didn't need to. During my first meeting with him, I expected dismissal. I expected condescension. Instead, he listened, actually listened. When I spoke about restructuring inefficiencies, he asked follow-up questions, took notes, thanked me. I wasn't used to that. Over the next year, we worked closely on several major transitions, late meetings, strategy sessions, flights to Chicago and New York for investor briefings. He never crossed a line professionally until I did. Not dramatically, not recklessly, just dinner after a conference one night when the conversation stopped being about quarterly projections and started being about life. He asked about my past relationships. I hesitated. Then I told him about the restaurant, the public humiliation, the "you'll never be successful without me." Daniel didn't laugh. He didn't roll his eyes. He said something simple. Men who feel small try to make women smaller. It wasn't romantic, it was respectful, and that respect changed everything. 2 years later, I ran into my ex at a corporate networking event downtown. He looked the same, still charming, still loud, still talking about big opportunities. He didn't see me at first. I was standing beside Daniel, my husband. Yes, that part still feels surreal, not because I married up, but because I chose someone who didn't see me as competition. When my ex finally noticed me, his smile froze. He walked over, trying to recover his confidence. "Well," he said, glancing between us, "look at you." "Look at me." I smiled politely. "This is my husband, Daniel." I watched the realization land. Daniel Whitmore, CEO of the company he'd been trying to pitch for consulting work, the same company that had rejected his proposal twice. My ex swallowed. "Oh," he said, forcing a laugh. "Small world." Daniel extended his hand calmly. "Nice to meet you." My ex shook it, but his confidence was cracked now. He looked at me. "You're doing well," he said, voice tighter than before. I tilted my head slightly. "I always was." There was no shouting, no revenge speech, no dramatic mic drop. Just silence, the kind of silence that screams louder than insults. He once told me I'd never survive without him. Now, he was pitching ideas to the man I shared a last name with. Not because I chased revenge, but because I chased growth, and that hurt him more than anything I could have said. As we walked away, Daniel squeezed my hand. "You okay?" he asked. I smiled. Better than okay. Because success isn't marrying a CEO. It's becoming the version of yourself someone once tried to shrink and letting them watch you outgrow them.